This is an excerpt from my book, Traveling the Wilderness Road. Let's continue our journey here at the Long Island of the Holston River in Kingsport, Tennessee. Across the road from the riverfront park sits what was once the home of John Lynn, Jr., built in 1840. Lynn was a prominent businessman and merchant in Kingsport. His father, John Lynn, Sr., managed William King's boatyard from 1803 to 1814. This building was later used as one of Kingsport's first hospitals. Continue eastward on Netherland Inn Road for 6/10 of a mile, passing underneath Interstate 26. Enter the roundabout and follow the signs to West Center Street, which will be the second exit. We will only stay on West Center Street for 2/10 of a mile, so move to the left lane quickly. Turn left onto Fairview Avenue, which is the second left, then immediately turn right onto West Sullivan Street. Note, this is different from the designated auto tour route. Travel on West Sullivan Street for 6/10 of a mile. This subdivision is known as Sevier Terrace, and, as the styles of the houses suggest, was developed between 1920 and 1950. If we look to the right at 1105 West Sullivan Street, we'll see the Great Indian Warpath Monument. This monument shows the direction of the Great Warrior's Path. It was erected in 1934 by the Long Island chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Continue on West Sullivan Street. After crossing Lynn Garden Drive at the traffic light, use caution. Traffic continuing straight, and that's us, must stop twice at the next intersection. The road name then changes to Lovedale Drive. Stay on Lovedale Drive for 4/10 of a mile. Turn left onto Clinchfield Street and go 2/10 of a mile. We are now back on the designated auto tour route. The brick house on the left at the intersection with West Stone Drive, US 11W, was built in 1856 by Joseph Grosclose. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Cross West Stone Drive, US 11W. The road name then changes to Bloomingdale Road. Remain on Bloomingdale Road for 2.9 miles. This was the actual route of the Great Wagon Road. Watch for Vermont Methodist Church on the right. About 3/10 of a mile after passing this church, we will see a log house on the left at 2044 Bloomingdale Road. This is the Crump Welsh Stuffle House. It was built by the Crump family in 1840. The chestnut logs are original. At about 2/10 of a mile after the Crump Welsh Stuffle House, at 2117 Bloomingdale Road, we will see a two-story white house on the right. There is a white fence just before it. This is the Thompson House Red House Tavern. Built in 1809, it was a stop for pioneers migrating westward. It has been used as both a tavern and a home. The portico was added in recent years. Cross John B. Dennis Highway, Tennessee 93, and stay on Bloomingdale Road for another 1.1 miles. Turn left onto Lucy Road beside Kingsley Elementary School. The Kentucky Road from Sapling Grove, which is present-day Bristol, Virginia, would have intersected about 1.5 miles north of here. Follow Lucy Road for 1 mile to the Virginia state line. Although Tennessee became a state in 1796, the boundary line between it and Virginia would be contested for another 70 years. In 1779, while Tennessee was still part of North Carolina, Thomas Walker and Daniel Smith, commissioners for Virginia, and Richard Henderson and James Smith, on behalf of North Carolina, surveyed the boundary line. This survey was needed so the settlers in the area would know whether they were in Virginia or North Carolina. The lines of the two commissions matched until they reached the North Fork of the Holston River. If the boundary was established as surveyed, some North Carolina settlements would belong to Virginia. This did not sit well with Henderson since he was interested in some of those lands. He requested the latitude be checked, and even though the examination showed no error had occurred, he still continued with his line, which was 2 miles north of Walker's line. Henderson stopped when he got to Cumberland Mountain, but Walker continued to the Tennessee River. The approximately 3-mile wide strip of land remained disputed and was known as the Squabble State. In 1802, commissioners were appointed once more. They agreed that a compromise line midway between the two lines should be the boundary between the states. In 1856, Virginia again brought up the question of the boundary line. Commissioners were once again appointed. They surveyed and marked the same line as in 1802. Virginia rejected this survey, and the whole thing started over. In 1869, a survey made during the eclipse of the sun, so as to determine the true latitude of the lines, showed that none of the existing lines were at the latitude where the boundary had been defined. The case was taken to the Supreme Court of the United States. The court decided that the compromise line of 1802 should be the boundary line between the two states.